This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
Yo. I sometimes say yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you knew this about him. You knew this is one of his quirks.
Is that how Yo Sushi got its name? Do you think that sushi was delivered to someone's house and they went,
maybe.
yo?
No.
Sushi? No, okay. worth a try, I always think.
Yeah.
So,
This is when we get a lot of people, Al, at this time who've been to a Frank Skinner show.
Oh,
Have you had
tons.
some of those?
Several in the Friday night trawl. You know, I trawl through the emails that we receive on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I don't do it manually on Friday night. I just trawl back past tense.
yeah, it's a retrospective activity.
I know,
And,
but some
there's
people
a
have a
fair
view
few.
of you sitting here in the studio on your own, which I
Yeah, I
don't
think
like.
they think that I eschew Friday evenings for myself.
I'd be so impressed if we got in here and you'd been in all through the night.
No. What I did last night was a stand-up comedy gig and then ate sushi and trifle in a hotel room.
Yo,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
sushi and trifle.
Well, you know, I was hungry.
Do you tell you what?
disgusting.
I lived with a woman who was, when I say live with her, in halls of residence when I was a student.
Cheapskate.
And
Shall we move in together, darling?
she was from overseas, and we were talking about if we got money, what we'd spend it on. And she said, I'm obsessed with trifle.
Oh, really?
And she said, I just love it. And I said, really? I don't really meet people, our age. She said, aren't. And I think in her country it was quite, she said, in my country, there's, people, it's not really available to us.
Right.
Oh.
And she went on about how much she loved trifle. And I thought, God. Anyway, it was when I think she said something along the lines of trifle broadens the mind that I realised she meant travel.
Oh.
But it had gone. I bet we'd done a minute and a half of complete misunderstanding.
Very good. I was thinking she'd have been really cock-a-hoop if she'd seen the supermarket shelf I saw yesterday where there was loads of reduced trifles. Didn't even need the money.
I've only
Save
ever
a
really
bit.
seen the trifle on the reduced shelf.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, it feels
Do you
like
think they start there?
a very reduced shelf.
I'll just say
Food.
this.
Would you not say?
It said on the label serves 4. Didn't last night.
You didn't have a four-person trifle.
I
you
certainly
didn't.
did.
Wow.
To misquote
you
Oliver Hardy.
Absolute animal.
Certainly did.
Did you just get the big plastic bowl and dip your spoon straight in?
I got a spoon from the hotel, yeah.
Well, my
I don't
mate,
bring my own spoon.
Do you know what? Small amount of respect.
Thank you.
I travel with a runcible.
I think Pierre's very nice.
No, it's very handy if you have one. I always have one in my bag.
Are you going to tell us what?
It's a runcible spoon is what you would now call a spork.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that Alun Pussycat? Did they
Yeah.
make that famous in their rap?
Yeah, but it means if you got a spork, you can eat almost anything with a spork. It's gone.
And you do travel with one?
Yeah, I travel with one in the
for you.
bag.
Very good.
Because you know that thing when you stop at the services and get something and then you're in the car and think, oh no, don't have a spoon. Oh, fork. Yeah, my mate's mum, I remember she came round because my mum used to make these trifles from the packet.
Oh, yeah.
And my mate's mum said, "Oh, I'll get one of those." And she came round. She said, "I couldn't get it like yours. I wonder if I've had it in the oven too long." and the top of it was just burnt. She just... Different times.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I was going to read you an email about your Symphony Hall show. There's a little praise, but I'm going to just redact that as I go
Good
along.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank. As part of my forthcoming birthday week, can I just say they've spelt fourth, F-O-U-R-T-H.
Oh, do you think that can't be that?
Giving the illusion that this may be a 3-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
As part of my forthcoming birthday week, I was able to see your show last night. Haven't laughed. Oh, there's some praise there. We were having a discussion they didn't say haven't laughed, they said hadn't laughed so much in ages. I should just clarify. Well, you know, when you're working with comedians, one has
sensitive.
What about that man that said to me last week at a gig, you kept us thinking the whole time? Not my intention.
No, yeah. What about that guy who said to me, I saw you at Latitude? I said, okay. He didn't. He changed the subject. I thought, no, you can't. You can't.
I can't. Oh, what about? No, I've had that. I've had. So I read your book.
Yeah, I mean, that's no good, is it? Don't even bring it on.
There was a pause, but you know how I dealt with it? I heard, so I read your book, and then there was a silence, and I went, oh, that's so kind of you, thank you. You're too lovely. Oh, you shouldn't have. And then they feel as if they've praised me. Okay. So do I.
That's good.
It continues. We were having a discussion as to whether you went straight back to London last night to be ready to present the show Saturday morning, or if you stayed in beautiful Smethwick and journeyed the next day. Also, did you get to visit the Birmingham Oratory while you've been here to pay tribute to the now St Cardinal John Henry Newman? Much love, Jonathan Hollis.
Well, yes to both of those. I was driven back through the night by my tour manager, Omar. And
hello,
yes, Omar. I went there last week to pay tribute to Saint John Henry Newman.
What about the Venerable Bede? He's
look, you know, I mean, it's difficult because they don't know about each other at the moment.
What I enjoy.
And you know, it's just you know, juggling two. I'm always, the phone goes and I'm just frightened. I don't know which one it's going to be.
You know, George Best with two lovelies. Do you know what, Al? I left here last week and I still couldn't believe that Frank had said to me, I went to a theme park, and then followed it by saying it was the Venerable Bede was the theme of the park. I mean, did they have roller coasters?
They didn't have. They had rare breed animals.
Oh yeah, we discussed
that was one of the things.
Yeah.
So they did have some. They had a sort of playground and.
I don't want to make you
Venerable Bede themed playground.
Maybe.
So you could go on the slide, but you had to translate a chapter of St John's Gospel into Old English.
If you had to choose between Venerable Bede and who's the most recent character, Al?
John Henry Newman.
Yeah, JHN as I call him. Who would it be?
It's very. I mean, John Henry Newman is a saint, you know. So,
Okay.
Bede
Yeah, but he's venerable.
He's a key issue in Anglo-Saxon. I'm gonna.
Isn't John Henry Newman only recently a saint? He's just in.
Yeah, I know, but he's a Birmingham guy as well.
Right.
I mean, not from Birmingham, but he did a lot of. That was where one of his main HQs were.
Okay.
Right.
I think he
Has he got a theme park though?
He hasn't. And what I would say is I can't imagine a John Henry Newman theme park happening. I like the idea that, like, this
Well,
is, you know,
the Venerable Bede stretching it.
the Oxford Movement Cafe and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to say I read more Bede.
Oh.
That'd be a good T-shirt, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, if I ever write a rap, it's going to begin, I read more Bede. Would it be the first ever rap that mentions the Venerable Bede?
I don't
8, 12,
know.
15.
Oh, that would be the way forward. Oh God, we should have ended there. I felt at the end, and I not realised I'm still speaking. Sorry, everyone.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, when I did this. Oh, sorry.
Well, we just have had some news in. I think it's not really news. It's Venerable Bede related news.
Okay.
This is from Pablo's Vault of Horror.
We've had the first ever on commercial radio Venerable Bede newsflash.
As a fan of superheroes and Benedictine monks, Frank might like to know that the Venerable Bede appears in Avengers Endgame. Part of Thor and Rocket's subplot were filmed at Durham Cathedral, final resting place of Bede.
Yes.
And Bede's tomb is in shot in a scene.
Wow. No, I need to check that out because
Yeah, me too. Oh, no, I
I've
don't.
watched that film and been to Bede's tomb. So
Wow, I've done neither.
that's like, you know, when you say, "Oh, hold it, that's that laundrette from across the look, quick." It's like
Yeah,
that.
but Frank, you get so excited about that.
Imagine me in the cinema going, "Look, Bede's, that's Bede's tomb." Oh man, I did.
Go on.
I did BBC Breakfast this week,
Did you?
which is a programme we always have on in silence.
Yes.
In the background. Now you
Yeah.
might think that suggests we're not focused on the job, but if something really big happens, it keeps us. You know, there's like if somebody big suddenly died or something, means we could respond.
Or not mention them or something.
Or not mention them,
Exactly.
or try and find a jingle that is apt.
We partly need that because we have a running feature called 85 and Still Alive.
Yeah.
And, we've got to make sure they are.
Yeah.
Needs regular updates.
It's when we're just not quite sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a thing when you do a show like that, you do what they call a phoner, where one of the researchers phones you and says, like, no, and just make sure that they're not going to go anywhere dangerous in the conversation, and just gets all the facts clear. You know, you're on tour, and I was plugging my West End run, you see, and I had the conversation with the researcher. I was on the top of the Great Tower at Conisbrough Castle. Which I felt a bit bad about, because there was people that had come to see the castle, and there was a bloke, on the phone.
Doing his media chat.
Yeah, saying
90s
yes,
Dom Jolly.
and there's a website date for people who want ticket and all that. I mean, it was pretty. But anyway, I did it. Now, one of the things, I don't know if we've ever mentioned this on air, but one of the things I'm utterly fascinated by BBC Breakfast is when they go through the papers, they don't just hold up the paper. There's a thing which I've come to think of as storygami, where they fold the paper so that just the story is, even if it's quite a small story, they'll fold it. So you see a lot of folded paper behind it, and they're holding up this tight, and it looks like it's been ironed, razor sharp edges.
It looks odd, Frank. It looks like a doll's house paper.
Yeah,
it's just, there's something unsettling about it. And sometimes you see the tip of a shaky nail.
So yes, I was on there, and I said, "Look, can I ask you about
You did.
Origami.
Yeah,
You didn't
origami.
ask about the paper.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
said I'd love. Who is there a person whose specific job is?
Actually, it's time they got their respect. They've been folding up bits of paper in the wings for years.
Yeah, and some shows. I mean, I've seen
Someone
people.
else would ask them that.
That's what he's bringing.
I've seen people hold up, on other shows, like photocopies of stories, and people who can't find the story in the paper, embarrassing,
Yeah.
But these guys, they've got the beautifully folded
A
one.
real pros.
And so I said, "So who folds your newspapers?" And Dan Walker said, "Oh, that'd be Faith. I'll introduce you."
You've got to have faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, good.
Folding Faith. So I met her. Of course, the first thing she said was, "Yes, I do other things on the show," which I was slightly disappointed to hear. But yeah, so I got my photo took with Faith. So maybe we can put that on social media.
To see that.
Folding Faith and the woman who gets them into lovely, do you remember there's a thing called the Millwall brick?
Sorry, the producer was absolutely lost it.
There was a thing called the Millwall brick when you could fold a newspaper into a thing that you could use as a weapon for football hooligans.
Oh, I didn't know
I didn't
that.
come
I
across
thought-
that in Highgate.
No, and she would have been great at that if things had turned out differently for her. But here she is on BBC Breakfast. It was special anyway.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we were driving back from Manchester, because BBC Breakfast happens in Manchester. I don't know if you're aware.
Oh, yes.
And
Salford, isn't it?
yeah, Salford.
Technically not Manchester, but it'd be
No,
churlish
that's
to
not-
point it out to
Oh, is
you
it
on
not?
radio.
Mark E. Smith used to point it out in more or less every interview.
I was a nice person to have things in common with. God rest his soul.
Yes, exactly. So we were driving back, and because I'd done a gig in Manchester on the evening at the Opera House, and then we'd done the BBC breakfast, and we passed Stoke. We got coming up to Stoke turn off, and I suddenly remembered that half of the Staffordshire hoard is at the Potteries Museum, which is another Anglo-Saxon find. So I said, look, we need to go off the motorway.
You didn't.
So yeah, we went there. Oh man, it was fabulous.
I mean, can you imagine these people going on tour? I know Elvis would probably make diversions, but I suspect it wasn't.
Wasn't for the Staffordshire hoard.
See the Staffordshire hoards.
No, well, I don't know if he was into filigree, but it was amazing, and honestly, I was utterly elated by it, and.
Really?
And to celebrate, we went to TGI Fridays in Stoke.
Oh, that's nice.
Lunchtime. I mean, Monday lunchtime.
Lunchtime,
Wow.
dear.
And I hadn't been in one of them for years. I was so happy. It's still braces and badges all round. I thought they might have changed their...
I don't think I've ever set foot in a
Have you?
TGI Fridays.
I've been to one
What
with
you talk about, Willis?
Fact.
Wow.
I'm not averse to it if you're offering us a show night out to TGI Fridays.
I've been in once, I think, to one in... There used to be one in Covent Garden, which is the most touristy thing, I think. I mean, I think that's the most touristy cocktail possible, is going to the TGI Fridays in Covent Garden.
It's a place where you can still get turf and surf.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is...
I think it's the other way around, but yeah.
Is
it?
Surf and turf. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe I've got it the wrong way around.
You know what? Yeah, but you know what? That's your Descartes.
Maybe,
And we've all got one.
Yeah.
We've all got one.
what I
Ours
like
is
is-
Descartes. Mine
Al-
now. Do you remember mine?
Yes, Weimaraner.
Oh, I thought you might
Very good.
remember.
What did you call it?
Oh, there you go. I called it Weimaraner.
Okay, yeah.
Weimaraner, Descartes, and Turf and Surf.
I mean, of course,
Here we go.
the terrible
that bad,
thing
is it?
about this, I mean, this is why I ache for you, Emily, on this, is you've become our dog person, having been the person who got Weimaraner wrong.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Redemption is possible for
Oh,
all,
I
Frank.
was-
You're a Catholic.
Good
Come on.
point. Good
Yes.
point.
How was... Yeah, Al's doing a philosophy degree next year. Yeah, and I'm opening a fast food restaurant.
I heard you were
Turf and
going-
surf.
I heard you were off for dinner with hashtag Dorco,
Yeah, well,
as
yeah,
we now
exactly.
call Richard Dawkins.
How was bonfire night with your dog?
Absolutely disastrous.
Okay,
He is not a fan.
they don't like it, do
They
they?
don't like it.
The Catholics or
No,
the
the
dogs?
dog.
Oh,
The dog.
okay.
I don't, it's me and this is where
They
me
don't
and,
like
me and
bonfire
dogs.
night.
Me
We're in
and
the
dogs
same-
finally are in the same Venn diagram.
We're in the Venn.
Yeah, we don't like bonfire.
He
night.
didn't like it, so I calm him by showing him David Attenborough, because that genuinely calms him.
Is that right?
It's odd. It's the voice as soon as he hears, but this one will not be so lucky.
Do you think?
All right.
He gets horrifically excited because there's something sociopathic about animals watching other animals. It's odd. He was watching those seals fighting. I've never seen him so elated. The
Really?
excitement on the
You
face.
do think David Attenborough's got a sort of Dr. Dolittle element that they can understand what
Oh,
he's...
maybe.
I know, honestly, as soon as he hears his voice, he doesn't have it with anyone else. He's transfixed.
Yeah.
And he stares at that screen and he watches them fight. I mean, I can't watch it. It's too traumatic.
It is upsetting, some of it, isn't it?
Those
Oh, God,
walruses
totally.
falling off the cliff. No, thank
He's
you.
a ghoul, David Attenborough.
He's
No,
a
but-
ghoul.
Well, he'll watch animals tearing. I've seen
It's
him
got
watch
worse.
lions crawl up on and not gone, look out, never, just let it
I
happen.
mean, how can he intervene on that?
Oh,
No.
come on. It's one thing not to intervene to video it.
There was one moment this week, and I
It's like
thought it said, with 4 orcas chasing the penguin, it stood little chance. Now,
Oh, no,
come
that's
on.
horrible.
I don't want to ever hear that in my lifetime.
4 orcas sounds like it could be a two Ronnie sketch. Doesn't it? I tell you what I always think about on bonfire night, though, when they say, no, they don't like it, the pets,
They
look
don't.
after your pet. There's a monument to animals that went to war
Well, yeah.
in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
And the caption on it is, they had no choice. And I always think, well, just as well, because if they don't like bonfire night, the chances of them opting for the battlefield over that nice rug in front of the fire is slim. So it's just as well they have no choice.
It's a bit monkey in space, I'm afraid.
Exactly.
They're in
Or
the
dog
back
in
of
space.
The dogs are in the back of the plane moaning about conscription.
Yeah, I think they had no choice. Don't give them medals. That's what I'd say.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Okay,
Awkward.
we've got Mikey has been in touch.
Mikey!
283.
See, I think of Michael Holding. They always call Mike the famous fast bowler.
Oh,
I only know that because of the rude
he sounds
thing.
more like a midfielder to me. Michael Holding midfielder.
Well,
yes.
I know that because of the infamous.
Yes. His nickname was Whispering Death.
Oh.
Oh, that's mine now. Mikey, who is keen to point out in parenthesis that he's a southerner.
Okay.
I think he means south of England, not, yeah, pa, I sure
No.
do like them grits. Morning, Frank. With reference to the correct order of phrases, i.e. turf and surf.
Yeah.
Frank just said turf and surf, and Alan and I were cruel about it.
Yeah.
I'm in a constant battle with my work colleagues over the well-known phrase bacon and egg,
Yeah.
which they insist should be egg and bacon. Is it a north-south divide thing, I wonder? There's a way of testing because we have people representing from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
Start with Frank Skinner. Bacon and egg or egg and bacon?
You know what? I think I'm egg and bacon.
Oh.
But that might be because I'm a cricket fan, and oh no, I'm not even sure about that. I think they call, if you're an MCC member and you wear, this is completely wrong because it's actually egg and tomato. And we'll start that again. Can you do that again, Paul? Live, you say? Oh no, well I wouldn't have said that bit of.
I like that our boss is actually called Paul. He might be filling in.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so you're
No,
egg and bacon.
I'd say egg and bacon. Yeah, I think it's because I like the eggen at the beginning. It's so nice. It's a bit
Egg
like
and Rona.
it's a bit like egg and Rona. Yeah.
Alan Cochrane.
Well, Frank is wrong. It's bacon and eggs. I'm not even going to compromise on it because. But it's been a good run doing this show.
Has it?
So you've gone alphabetical order, basically.
Okay.
And I think that's just the common parlance, if you may indulge me in that phrase.
Okay.
I think it's the common parlance.
So this turns me into
I
the
don't
sort of
like
Simon Cowell figure with the casting vote.
Well, I don't like the rhythm of bacon and eggs. It's bacon and it's not. It's an unhappy sound in the middle.
I'm all right with unhappy sounds.
Would you?
Acclimatised.
That's enough about your act.
He was always going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Please, would you like me to have the casting vote?
Okay.
Well, look, it's got to be bacon and egg, Frank. I'm with Al. It was a brave move of me not to go with the boss. But I'm afraid,
It's interesting you said egg in the singular. Al went eggs, I noticed. But egg and bacon, it's
I'm
the
greedy.
bacon and
rhythm.
eggs.
It's the rhythm. Listen to this, bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
I know, and as I mentioned last week, I know when Bagpuss goes to sleep, all of his friends goes to sleep.
Yeah,
But Emily still loved him.
exactly.
But it is in this instance, I'm afraid, going to
I know
have to
look,
save
I
Al.
respect your right to order these foods correctly or incorrectly. I think I'm just saying that mine is more poetic. Good night. Sorry, I've got a. Let me see. I don't know if I've actually got.
Oh, here we go.
No, this is that's all I had as a jingle. I just got a Venerable Bede update that I
yeah.
just thought of.
Well, we've had
I was at the Parker Library in Corpus Christi College, Cambridge, this week,
Of course you were.
and talking to the librarian, Alex Devine, or was it Devine? Anyway, very, very nice man. And but I'd never met him before, and he's a Cambridge librarian. It's quite a formal occasion, and he allowed me to turn the page, to actually touch the pages of a copy of Bede's Life of Cuthbert, which was owned by King Athelstan.
Wow.
And
I remember when you were happy when you'd get to go back and meet Cilla Black.
I know it's all.
It's all changed.
And he let me, and a few other the earliest available or existing copy of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. And at the end of it, I said, look, I know this is a bit weird, but can I hug you? I said to the librarian. And he said, yeah, that would be okay. Yeah. And so I hugged it. I was just so happy. I just had to hug him for showing me these books.
Just no talking.
Exactly.
When they show you the book.
I hugged him very quietly.
When they show you the books, do they wear the gloves?
No.
Oh.
And he said there's no need for that.
That's just a who do you think you are conceit, is it?
I thought, because at first it was in a glass
you
case.
turned up wearing yours, hadn't you? You'd worn those rubber gloves.
Yeah, I wore...
Frankenfurter.
Yeah.
He looked like Rocky Horror.
I actually wore a couple of hawking gauntlets. But... when he showed it me at first, it was in the glass case, and I thought I was still beside myself with excitement in the glass case. But then he opened it out and said, "Go on, you can touch it."
Wow!
Oh my goodness me!
You couldn't believe your luck.
I was beside myself.
I mean, I love the Venerable Bede. He has been getting a lot of airtime this morning.
No, maybe I'll lay off the VB.
No, I don't think we want to ever lay off the VB. However. I would like to allow our readers to join in with some VB info.
Okay.
This is from 231. Delighted to hear the Venerable Bede getting so much airtime.
Yeah, it's not on commercial radio that much.
No,
I think he was on Smooth FM this morning. My son is called Bede.
Wow.
And I think this will really clear up the pronunciation for people who are keen to pronounce it B-Day.
Oh, well, they're just being... aren't they?
yeah, silly.
Oh. So, no, it's definitely Bede.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hereby. I mean, there's no Weimaraner moment in this. It's Bede.
All right, Turf and Surf.
We got to get T-shirts with those three things on.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email. There ought to be a thing called the email.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's a thing that you can do where you use as many calories as when you run a mile. But you just have to use like
Maybe
some
on
sort of vape.
A computerised treadmill or something.
Yeah. Email the show. It will come. It will come. It will surely come. As I think Eno said in the King's Lead Hat. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Your interest in history hasn't gone unnoticed, Frank. We've got an email here. Frank's visit to Conisborough Castle. Is that how you say it? Conisborough?
Yeah.
Hi, Frank, Emily and Alan. I know how much you all heart news. We do heart news, don't we?
Oh, God,
We've got T-shirts saying, I heart news.
Yes, so I thought you might like to know that Frank's visit to Conisborough Castle made it into our local newspaper.
No.
The Doncaster Free Press. As well as referring to him as TV funny man Frank Skinner.
Yeah.
They also said he was a lovely chap with a keen interest in history. Apologies on their behalf for the praise. We don't mind praise, we just don't read it out specifically, although I did then.
I mean, I love praise.
Yeah.
I just think when one repeats praise, it's a bit grand.
Michael continues, having lived in Conisborough for over 20 years, we kind of take the castle for granted, as it was always the easy option for school trips. Also, it's a good job Frank visited last week, as the road to the castle is now flooded.
Oh, although I could have arrived on some sort of barge with
like an inflatable raft on the news.
I'm thinking something a bit more Norman, you know.
Yes,
right.
I'm seeing you on something a bit more sort of, I'm seeing some Viking contraption.
You seen Bunting?
I'm definitely seeing Bunting.
I thought you are.
Yeah.
Who is he? Basil Bunting. I have to say, Coningborough Castle is a bit recent for me. It's Norman.
Is it?
Although the land was originally owned by Harold Godwinson, of course, of Arrow in the Eye fame. But
good info.
But it's brilliantly done. You get to some amazing places, and you get to the sort of little museum bit, and you think, oh dear, it's one of those waxwork dummies with a very badly put together Viking and stuff like that. But That's not the Jorvik Centre, actually, which has got some great Vikings. But this, it used like they projected sort of comic book images of characters who'd lived at the castle, and they talked to you. So they were projected on the wall of the castle.
Nice.
And all sorts of other.
I
It's
love
really well done. I'd recommend Conisbrough Castle. I think someone who didn't like history might come out of there thinking, oh, more interesting than I thought.
Yeah.
Except for that bloke on the top of the Great Tower doing a phone at a BBC breakfast.
TV funny man Frank Skinner,
Yeah,
as
exactly.
to be later described in the Doncaster Free Press.
And what was Chris Evans' one always? Madcap broadcaster.
I love it when you're... Yes, Frank is TV funny man often, but he's also Three Lions. Does often get...
Yeah, you get a bit of that. You used to get Brommy
Brommy.
comedian. What about us once introduced as the comedy king from the old bull ring?
Oh, nice.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
At Doris is Away asks if compote
Yeah.
is pronounced like Truman Capote. I would have said Truman Capote. Is it Truman Capote? I would say Truman Capote.
It's Truman Capote and compote.
Oh,
isn't
correct.
it?
Okay,
As
well,
in compost.
Doris is Away. I'm afraid you're
I think-
incorrect about compote.
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, thanks for
Thanks,
joining
Doris.
in. I could be wrong, of course. It's happened, I think it's happened
Yes.
3 times now in 11 years.
We've also, boys, had some news in. I mean, I say news, it's a matter of opinion, really. Bacon and eggs.
Oh, yes.
Martin Gardner says if it's a sandwich, it's egg and bacon. But sans bap, bacon and eggs every time. How do you feel about that? I think he's right.
Well, I'll tell you something about that. That's my... if someone said to me, you can have either bacon and eggs or eggs and bacon, my choice would be on bread. So maybe that's why I favour egg and
maybe.
bacon.
I see the egg as the necessary tax I have to pay on the bacon.
Oh,
I
just
like
get rid of it.
that moment when you bite into the fried egg and you think, is this going to be a sturdy yolk or am I going to get hot fluid now come
It makes
squirting?
me sick.
No, I like that.
No, I only like a hard egg.
I like an exploding yolk.
Okay. Is that like that sounds like one of your Venerable Bede characters? We also we heard from someone about John Sim.
We had an email in. Well, you were discussing John Sim.
Yeah, last week I was saying I met John Sim, the actor, and he's really, really friendly and nice. And we were chatting, and then I told him I was a massive Doctor Who fan, and he hugged me and walked off, which was
Yes.
a good ending to it. And then I think you had a story also about John
I
Sim.
met him at a Halloween party recently.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Well, now Wayne has emailed the show. Hi, Frank, Emily and Alan. Since you were talking about John Sim during the last show...
I wish he'd dropped us a postcard about this instead of an email. Then we
Well-
could have done the SIM card joke.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Nice.
lovely.
A few years ago, I was at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield for a costume sale. Nice idea, isn't it?
Oh.
Oh, so you sound like
Mainly waistcoats. Welcome to the Crucible.
waistcoats and nicotine-stained glasses.
Waistcoats with horrible sponsors patches stitched on them.
sponsors, don't
Oh.
And maybe a coach driver shirt, short sleeve shirt.
I don't mind sponsors, sort of in general. I don't love them, but on a waistcoat, I wish they wouldn't.
Don't
do
like
that.
them on a tennis outfit either.
No, that's also true.
Anyway, back to the Crucible.
There were
As
also-
Arthur Miller said.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were all sorts of miscellaneous clothes worn by...
Venerable Bede probably said as well, and he's probably doing his breakfast in one.
There were all sorts of miscellaneous clothes worn by supporting cast on the cheap rails, but then there was a special rail with costumes worn by famous actors.
Oh.
Those went for a pretty penny,
I bet
and I
they
didn't
did.
have the budget for them. This isn't me. This is Wayne, the
No, but you would
correspondent.
think that.
It does. It overlaps with my mood. So, imagine my surprise when I discovered.
I love it when people ask you to imagine their surprise.
I'm imagining it.
Frank usually does. When you say that to Frank, he goes, "Okay, hang on 1 minute, please."
Yeah, and then I have a little imagine.
Have you imagined
Ooh.
it, Frank?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Imagine his surprise when he discovered a suit on the cheap rail that had been worn by none other than the great John Sim. Not just any suit, this. It was his suit worn for a 2010 production of Hamlet. Surely a mistake. It really should have been hanging on the expensive rail.
Definitely.
I must bring it to the attention of the sales assistant. Or, ... I could just buy it quickly.
Yeah, buy it.
I paid 20 quid for John Sim's Hamlet suits. There had to be a profit in that, I thought. I'd put it on eBay as soon as I got home, expecting it to go for a few hundred quid.
Yeah.
Nothing, not even a cheeky low bid. It was karma, I suppose. So it's still in my wardrobe, hung next to my own suit. I like the idea that they have one.
Yeah, one suit.
Next to my own suit.
When they say
Now I've
Hamlet,
got 2 suits that I don't need.
no, they say Hamlet suit. Is it like a modern day? Do you
I'm
think
guessing,
production, or is
Well-
it actually like a doublet nose?
No, it's not a doublet. No.
I like those two hanging side by side.
No, it was clearly one of those, as I always call it, Coriolanus in a leather jacket and camouflage
Yes,
trousers.
right.
yes.
So it's
Type
John
production.
Sim in an Armani or
I
a Paul
suspect
Smith
Hedy
or something.
Slimane, one of those.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Frank, that'd look nice on you, that suit.
I just think
You're a snake.
surely John Sim's Hamlet suit should have been.
Well, he was wearing at the Halloween party, I think it was the Batman suit.
Huh?
So, that might go for a...
Top man. Having said this, we have to move
Top
on
man.
now. But I went to see a play this week and went backstage to see my friend who was rather marvellous in it. And
Sounds a bit weird.
and
My friend.
Russell T Davies was in the bar, former showrunner of. So I know Russell.
Did you say hello?
Oh yeah, we hugged and chatted. But Arthur Darvill, who played Rory in Doctor Who, was also there. And you know what? I lost my nerve. So having had a Sim moment, and when John Hurt went ha and walked off, I just couldn't. I
wish I'd been with you because I wouldn't have had a clue who that was.
Arthur, you don't know who Arthur Darvill is?
No.
Shame on you.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I want to talk this morning, by the way. I meant to mention to you, because I know you're a fan of any work done by the world's tallest or shortest individual.
Well, I think since we've been doing this show, which is over 10 years, it feels like the world's tallest man, shortest man, tallest woman, so that they've been regular, they're newspaper favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I keep on top of that intel, as you know.
Hard to keep
Yeah.
on top of the world's tallest man, of course.
Well, let me help you. Sultan Kozan is the current world's tallest man.
Yeah.
8
Good
foot
knowledge.
3-ish. If anyone's interested to know...
Ish. 8'3". The Guinness Book of Records let their standards drop.
Well, I never trust them quite on that. No,
Oh,
he
come
is
on.
Guinness verified. Just in case anyone wants to know the shortest men, you may be aware it was Chandra Bahadur Dagi until his unfortunate death in 2015.
yeah.
The title then passed back to Junray Ballawing, who'd inherited it.
Can I say,
off-
Emily's not reading these.
I know,
Can
I
I
know.
just point that out?
Who'd inherited it off Kagendra Tapamaga, who'd
Excellent.
previously held it. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. No passes.
Good knowledge and excellent pronunciation, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Emily's on the shorts.
Yeah, I love the shorts. There has been a new... I mean, he's in that ballpark, Al, isn't he? Because he's 8 foot. He's not Guinness verified.
What I like about this is I can't remember a story that's been in the papers about the world's second tallest man.
No.
And I like this. As you know, I call my son Buzz because I like the idea Buzz Aldrin, the second man
Yeah.
on the moon, is somewhat a bit cooler almost about being second.
Yeah.
And
His name is...
go on.
His name is Shere Khan as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I like because I appreciate Rudyard Kipling has been sort of temporarily cancelled.
Has he really?
yeah, I
That's
believe
on,
so,
How can I
yeah.
say that's on just some great stuff?
I know, and read the short stories, fabulous. Anyway, but Shere Khan which is Lion King, literally, I guess, isn't it? Or Tiger King?
Shere Khan's a tiger, isn't it? In the
Yeah, it's lion/tiger, though. Can be used for either, I think.
yes.
it?
Is it
Tiger
George
King.
Sanders who does the voice in the film?
Absolutely brilliant knowledge. Who was married to Jar Jar Gabor?
Colonel Sanders.
No,
One of the
Jar Jar
first-
Gabor.
One of the first fast food gay marriages.
He was actually
That's right.
married to Jar Jar Gabor, and
Was
also
he?
married
Jar
her.
Jar Gabor used to say darling with a K.
And then he married her sister several
He
years
never.
later. Yes.
I-
He
Ava Gabor.
never did.
No. Anyway,
Ava Gabor, who was in Green Acres, popular American
Good knowledge.
sitcom.
I call this a weekend with Frank and Em.
Yeah, exactly. This is what it's like. Imagine being having to put up with this constantly.
Poor cat.
I don't need
Sorry,
to.
sorry.
I just said I don't need to,
What's
Frank.
worrying me is
That
this
deserves
occurred
respect.
to our readers that they don't need to either.
Oh, we're
Yes.
awful.
Da-da-da-da-da. That's the theme tune to Green Acres.
Oh, we are
Is it?
awful, but I like it.
I'll tell you though, can I just tell you the story? Is that
Of Shere Khan?
No, the Green Acres is
Oh,
quite a clever
God.
idea.
Is Venerable Bede in it?
Its woman marries very rich man, and then
I
he
like this
decides that he wants to give up the world of high finance and go and live on a farm and all that. and
Oh,
live in
yeah.
the cotton. She hates it. She's all, it's very like Emily. If you'd played it now, Emily could play the wife because it's all about, my heels are sinking into the
excellent.
mud and all that stuff. So check it out.
Okay.
A great theme tune.
Okay.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We were discussing the 8-foot tall Afghan as the news headline that I read.
What a dog that was.
It does make him sound like a dog. It's a person. I feel like it's an unfair headline. And also it's tautological because it calls him a giant 8-foot tall Afghan.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, Al?
Why
Is it
not?
wrong? I was a
Pick
little
one or the other.
disappointed when I read 8-foot tall Afghan. I thought, I'm having that.
Yeah.
Turned out it was wasn't a dog.
Imagine taking that for
You
a
were
walk.
probably
Your
picturing
podcast.
yourself walking round a green with...
Walking, riding with a saddle.
Anyway, this doesn't happen every day, but there's something I have in common with the world's second tallest man. Is that he's a big cricket enthusiast, as it turns out.
Yes.
Oh, he loves the cricket.
I'd have thought, there could have been a fast bowl in Korea for
I
him.
wonder if Anton du Frackenpoint was a cricket fan.
Was he the
Which one was
the
he?
most
He was the
tall?
world's tallest man in 16th century Germany.
Oh, no, he wouldn't have been then. It
Okay.
didn't exist. No.
Okay.
What about
You know about pop stars,
What
One
about
Direction. I know
Daniel
Anton du
Daniel
Frackenpoint.
Lambert was Britain's fattest man, I think, in the 18th century. He used to be a...
You know the fattest man
I
in
know.
the 18th century, and I know the tallest man in the 16th. What does that say about us?
I don't know, but we need to...
I mean, fattest man in the 18th century was probably easy comparatively.
yeah.
Surely.
Well, I don't know. The rich are always with us.
So Shere Khan had a bit of a nativity story in many ways. There was no room at the inn.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He went to... now, here's the thing. He went to Lucknow in India. Now, when I hear the word Lucknow, what is my first thought? Which famous celebrity was born in Lucknow?
Oh.
Anyone?
Oh,
Don't
Don't know.
text him because...
Freddie Mercury. No.
no.
Okay.
Very close, though. Cliff Richard.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
knowledge.
that, Frank. Okay, I like that.
Now, if I had a hotel in Lucknow, what would I call it?
I don't know.
Lucknow Further.
Look no further.
Oh, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be Lucknow Further Hotel.
That is good.
But he couldn't find a hotel. I mean, because he was too tall.
No, it was too tall.
Yeah,
Apparently,
it
What kind of
wasn't-
a rejection is that?
one local referred to him as suspicious.
What
I
did
think
they-
that's unfair.
What did they suspect? Was it like one of those things, when you watch cartoons and that, and there's two kids and then one sits on the other one's shoulders and they put a big overcoat?
Yeah,
Did they think it was a person trying to get, like two people trying to get him for one?
Yeah.
He was,
Suspicious seems. I mean, surely the very nature of his physical mass, makes it impossible to him to possess the furtiveness and sneakiness
He's perhaps less
that's implied
suspicious,
by
yeah.
suspicion.
yeah, he's not going to be approached by MI5. So. Sheer and saying, can you do some spying for us? Unless it's just looking through people's bedroom windows.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Shere Khan we're discussing.
Oh yes, well,
not the
that's
Jungle Book.
practical. You're how tall are you, Al?
About 6'3", I think.
How are you on aeroplanes generally? Have you got enough leg room and stuff?
Oh, not always, but you know, my struggle is real. I don't like to bang on about it.
Think about Sheer though.
He must be having a nightmare.
8 foot, Frank.
Well, I mean, what is the brace position for him? He must be like a Cumberland sausage.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's got to go over again, hasn't he? One fold won't be enough.
That's right, yeah.
He'd be.
Could he do a forward roll without taking his feet off the ground?
No. Well,
Okay.
even the world's strongest men, as you know, I've shared a flight with. We stayed up.
Yeah.
They sometimes they have to book 2 seats.
Oh, yeah, we discussed that, didn't we?
Because they can't fit into the one. So Khan, I think he'd need the full 3 in the central aisle.
But I don't. Why is he a problem in a hotel? Because it's his lookout if he's, you know. If
He's a very good lookout, actually. That's
brilliant.
That's one of the things that
that
lends itself
surely
very
is
well
the
to.
job he should be. I don't know if has he got a job? I mean, can you make a living from being the world's second tallest man?
Well,
Good question.
Sultan
You
Kozan.
certainly could in the 19th century, but those shows are not so common now.
Frank says with his usual those days are over,
I
sadly.
think that's for the best.
I know,
so
but
sure.
thanks for that. Just as my beard is growing.
My
I've just got to that
my
age.
brother-in-law is 6'7", and he says he struggles in a lot of hotel beds that his feet stick out the bottom.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so you know,
Cold toes.
I guess it is.
But Sultan Kozan, who is the world's tallest man, and is
Well, yeah.
officially recognised by GWR.
Did he say, think yourself lucky?
No. No, he said, I'm quite glad for all this attention because hopefully I will now get famous and meet a lady.
Who said
Right.
that?
Sultan Kozan.
Oh, that's the world's tallest
No,
man.
I love that honesty. He just put it out there.
Yeah? Well, I guess we all thought that when
suppose-
celebrity came along, but we didn't have the courage to
Yeah.
say. He probably thought no one would hear it up there.
The difficulty is, though, if you're so tall you can't find a bed for just you, it's going to be difficult for, like, if he meets the tallest woman and she loves him, they're going to have a nightmare.
But he won't go out with the tallest woman. I suppose they'd probably end up at castings together.
Yeah,
Well, the world's the world's strongest men. So I'm getting all my categories mixed up. I've mixed with so many, but the world's strongest men particularly chose the shorter women.
Did they really?
Because they make them look
Yeah, it's a.
hench.
It's
as they
like
say.
holding. What can I say? The betting shop pen.
Yes.
You know, it'll make the hand look bigger.
I
Well, it
thought you were
did
going to
occur to
say
me.
they all choose each other.
It did occur to me, it's a shame that the tall man couldn't get in the hotel because he could have had a lot of fun with the little cans of Coke from the minibar, couldn't he?
Watch it for a photo,
How
claiming to
big
be
he was,
taller.
yeah.
What I would. That's really.
I'll tell you something though, the robe would become a bit sexier than usual.
The robe would become more of a bralette.
Oh no, that would
What-
be
the thing
crop
is-
top robe. Crop top robe, Cher. Yeah, all right. I've heard it before.
Frank, the belt on the robe would be a sort of Jodie Marsh turning up to a premiere
I
in the
know it would
90s.
be.
Can I just say also, apparently he was so desperate and distraught, he obviously went to the police station to ask for help, begging for help. They offered him a police escort to a hotel, which, I mean, how many bikes did that take?
I imagine they just walked him, did they?
No, I think they had a police escort. I think they had I mean, can you imagine? It would have been like motorcycle display team. You know, when they'd all go on each other's shoulders with the arms out.
It's brilliant. But they couldn't really hide him, I suppose. He's looking over the top of
No.
them.
Well, there was a crowd of there were
I mean, what could
hundreds
they
of
do?
people turned out to see
They
him.
couldn't put a blanket over him like it's a murder trial or everything. Everyone's still going to know, oh, it's the tallest man with a blanket
So
over his
people say, oh, tallest man, and he says, actually, it's the...
second tallest.
What I would have done if I'd have been the hotel, you know those glass lampshades that are like a bowl.
Yeah.
I'd have put the fruit in that, like in the giraffe house, for him to eat out of.
Frank Skinner.
Okay.
We were discussing the 8-foot-tall Afghan man who went to the cricket but was too tall to find a hotel.
There's the whole
The
story.
hotel they took him
that's
to,
pretty
Al.
much it.
I'll tell you what he'd be good for in a hotel. Have you ever been in a hotel and you get that gap at the top of the curtains and you can't find a way of closing
Oh,
it?
yeah,
And you
it'd be
think,
lovely
when
for
the
that.
light comes in the morning, he can get up there and just close it.
Well, can I just say...
Can I tell you, I saw a brilliant life hack for that
Oh,
gap
good.
at the top of it. You
Go
know,
on.
you get those coat hangers that have got like grips on them so you can hang your
Yes.
trousers. You
Know
can
them well, my
put
friend.
those on and hold the curtain together with those two grips.
That is a really good... I like it.
Is
there
lovely,
you go.
Frank.
Very good.
Saw that on that internet thing.
Lifehacks.com, yeah?
No, I don't know where I stumbled across it, but there it was.
Well, I suspect we'd been talking about it. I'd probably told you, and then it popped up, like these
Maybe.
creepy things do.
Huh?
We don't like it when that happens.
Well, I'm not as tall as Sher Khan, but I am tall, and I think there are benefits to it. I think it's easy for him to look on the negatives, like he couldn't get a hotel room. But I was in a supermarket the other day, and a lady called me over. I walked like pretty much
Result?
half of an aisle.
Legend.
She was a I'm going to guess a pensioner lady, and she said, "Can you reach up and pass me down those
42.
frozen?" I passed her down a couple
Nice.
of frozen fish dishes that she was
Nice.
going to presumably microwave or heat later, and I felt really good about myself.
Yeah.
Did you say young man?
It did occur to me. No, I think she looked at me and thought, "He's middle-aged. I'm not even going to push it." I had a spring in my step, and maybe Sher Khan, rather than focusing on the fact that he's gone from room to room, from pillar to post, perhaps he could offer to put up some Christmas decorations on a tall tree, or
Well,
Or be the
change-
tree.
change
I'd
the
pay him.
bulbs at the floodlights at the cricket or something.
Well,
rather
he
than
was-
moaning about how 200 people are gawping
yeah.
at him.
I don't know he's going to make much money putting up Christmas decorations in Afghanistan.
Or India.
Yeah.
True. Fair enough.
I think that's. I mean, I'm all for encouraging small businesses, but I don't know if you could call this a small business.
I was interested or intrigued to find out about the hotel he stayed at, because I thought, well, presumably this must have had unusual facilities, you know, compared to all the other hotels in the area. If it was the only hotel that the police would take him to,
You could put a single bed on the end of a double bed, couldn't you?
would you sleep like that?
Well, I think needs must if you're 8'2".
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Well, I found out about the hotel, Frank.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I just wanted to say,
No,
I did
look
look
no
up some
further.
info about Look No Further.
Okay.
I won't
Their
name the
nightly rates.
hotel.
Actually, what look no further might be is the website where you find hotels in Lucknow. And it rather than an actual
a good
hotel.
idea.
It's like compare.com, looknofurther.com. Okay.
I looked on looknofurther.com and I found the hotel in question because I
Ah.
thought there'd be a sort of fairground. If you are taller than this sign, you can stay here, no
that would
problem.
be a good system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or something. Or the beds would be especially tall, but no. All I could see was a review saying very worst person sitting at reception. Now, I hope that wasn't a reference to
Sher
Sher Khan.
No, I'm imagining that's the employee.
Well, I hope so, but also very worst person sitting at reception. Well, he's only the worst out. How many were there? I mean, I need this review to be in context. If there were 40 people on reception, I might stay in the hotel. Do you see?
I guess it means very worst person, brackets, in the world is
Yeah.
on reception. So there's a real horrible
Oh, I see. I thought
That's
it
very much how I
Who's
took it.
very worst person in this room?
What now?
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
If he
That's a difficult conversation. I think
Yeah.
it's fair to say.
Definitely don't think we should have it on air.
Do
definitely
you
me.
think
What if we want the show to continue?
showering would be a problem, of course, in there?
For Sher
You
Khan.
don't want to be looking down on the shower head, ever.
Well, I'm slightly taller than the shower in my
yeah.
ensuite.
Uh,
I like the way you said.
I think that's...
You know,
I
I'm
think
aware it's
that-
not
look,
a
I can
problem
imagine
that
a
anyone's
song.
gonna-
I can imagine a song beginning with that. I'm slightly taller than the shower in my ensuite. It's got a sort of that
I
sort of
remember once,
groovy English thing.
This is a strange story, but Sol Campbell's agent showed me around his house, and he just was saying every moment, ensuite, and we go through here, another ensuite, and then we have a fourth ensuite. And downstairs there's another ensuite. So I realised he was very proud of the ensuite.
Yeah, I
Sol
suppose
Campbell's manager. Can I just say I was at Sol Campbell's manager's house in a business capacity? In case you were thinking it was a late night soiree.
No, I never thought that.
Legend.
Not for a second. Was Cher there? Cher Khan?
Oh, no.
Not Cher, obviously.
No.
What about if you said I got Cher coming to a party, everyone excited, then it was him? I think that for me, I'd be more pleased.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What about this for an email? Hi Frank M. Al. This will appeal to Frank as a follower of the Nazarene, Alan's thrift and Emily's common sense of things that will make her sick.
Oh.
Big opening.
It is.
Love you already.
Confident.
I just saw, brackets, on Friday the 8th of November, this came in last night, 2 early 20s girls on the bus getting fully stuck into the chocolates in an advent calendar! Exclamation mark.
Oh, wow.
Sickos.
We were the row behind, so I was close enough to see they weren't even opening the doors in the right order, just happily opening window 9, shoving a chocolate in, and then window 23, ... I can't go on. I hope this makes the troll, praise etc. Prisoner 970, Canonbury. What do we make of that kind of cavalier attitude?
Lovely.
You fine with that?
No, I just like Canonbury.
Oh, okay.
They have broken every rule.
Every rule in the book.
The only way I can forgive this is if there was some kind of orange sticker on the advent calendar saying "reduced, eat me now," and they were compelled.
You don't get many advent calendars that say "eat me now," do you, in November?
To me, though, surely that is one of the pleasures of adulthood. Is the buying. I mean, I often do that. I sometimes think I can have ice cream as my dinner and that's it.
Yeah.
I can do what I like.
Yeah, but I mean, for example, I wouldn't eat. I don't think I've ever in my life ate an after 8 mint before 8 o'clock.
Yes, but you're very rule bound and fearful, oddly fearful of authority in some ways, which I think is due to the padre figure in your life with the priest.
Maybe, but also because I like being struck over and over again by someone I can trust. But that's different. I don't know. I think, why not just buy a chocolate bar or something?
Yeah.
Why buy an advent calendar?
I get
Absolutely.
that. I would do that. There's a sort
Really?
of I see the gay abandon in it, and I
Okay.
respect it. It's kind of tearing down the system.
Well, yeah, I wonder if they saw it like that. These women.
These women.
They probably just took it off a child in the street.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. They're all going to be reduced soon anyway.
Oh,
Come on.
by the way, on the subject of Sher Khan, we haven't mentioned that he was going to the cricket match. He was going to India West Indies, and
India, Afghan. Oh, was it?
No, he is Afghan.
he's
he's
Afghan, but he
Afghan,
supports India.
Got it.
Imagine, as soon as I read this story, I thought, imagine you've got your ticket for India West Indies and Sher Khan comes and sits in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, we don't often discuss human rights on this show, but
We don't, you're right.
whose human rights?
I think we're about to find out there's good reason for that.
How can you observe? How do you observe the human rights of both Sher Khan and the person sitting behind them? How do you solve that conundrum?
How do you solve a
Tune in
problem
next
like
week on The Moral Maze.
And obviously, I don't normally use conundrums because I'm Catholic. But who is in that can't, the person who's bought that ticket can't be right
Would you
there
say
behind.
something?
What can you say?
Well, this is what I want to know.
Can you be less tall, please, mate?
Yeah, but I think you would say something.
I would say, could you buy? You know when you're driving and you turn in a sharp bend sometimes, and you get those circular mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
Can you get a pair of earrings, mate? that have got those mirrors on, so I can still see the match. I'm
You know what
sitting
I'd
behind
do?
you.
I'd just say, look, I'd have to go I think he has a responsibility to give you the option of motorcycle police display team. Because
Yeah,
at
but then
least
there's
if you're
so much-
on his... Hear
but
me
then
out.
there's
Hear
so
my
much
on
theory
Sher
out.
Khan's shoulders.
Yes, I would
But
sit
then what
on the
about the
shoulders.
people behind?
Well, they can jump on like everyone else.
That's impossible.
Motorcycle display, he could get 12 aloft, I reckon.
But Sher Khan not probably also obstructing the person behind him, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
I mean, they're expensive tickets for these
So
cricket
he has
matches.
to just sit on the very back row
I'm
wherever he
afraid
goes.
he has to be on the back row or home watching it on telly.
He's on the back row of life, Sheer.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think he's got to go back row. It's an
If he
absolute...
goes back row by the aisles, he can stretch his legs out right down to the pitch.
Couldn't
Can
he
I
just
say
get
Al?
himself a pint and go outside the ground, lean on the top of the main stand and watch it over there?
Hello.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I have a question for you guys. I sort of see this show as being an opportunity to ask people that I trust to not tease me if something is a thing. You know, when you see something and you think, is that a thing? You know, that's a thing, isn't it? Wondering if something is a thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I don't wear lip balm. My wife sometimes wears lip balm that I think is disgusting. And so occasionally, before giving her a kiss goodbye, I'll say, have you got that lip balm on? And if she says yes, I will kiss upon the cheek. I'm not a lip balm wearer, but I saw somebody on a tube, a woman putting on lip balm the other day, and she took out the tin of lip balm, and I expected her to dip the finger into it and then apply the lip balm with the finger.
Sure.
What actually happened was she took out the tin of lip balm, looked at it, and thrust her mouth into it. Is that a thing?
No, I've never seen.
Is that how we administer?
Absolute monster.
I mean, in a moment, I immediately decided I couldn't be married to you, love, because that's going to be loads of lip balm on your face.
I'm just wondering what's that woman been doing with her fingers that she would rather do that than use them to apply the lip balm.
But on reflection, is it actually sensible of her? Because she's not getting a greasy finger in administering the lip balm. She's
honestly-
taking
Well,
a very,
the hands are filthy.
she's taking a
I
Hamid
think
and the
that's
Manson
what it
approach.
is. I think she's thinking, I don't want to put, maybe she's just been, I don't know, strangling an animal.
Yeah.
And she's thinking, or if you stroked a dog, no offence, Emily, but after I've stroked a dog, I always want to wash my hands before I eat.
Oh.
So if she's just stroked a dog with both hands.
Well,
so-
I would say those who, if you put your hand, far more germs is on a handrail of any
Well, there you
sort.
go.
A
Than
door
on a
rail.
dog.
Yeah, many more germs.
There's
Yeah.
more germs on a handrail
You're not going to
than
get
on
a cold
dog.
virus.
Well, you know that they always used to
From a
say
dog.
there's more germs on a chopping board than there is on a toilet seat.
Bottom
Well,
of the handbag as well.
That's why I do most of my culinary preparation in the bathroom.
So if you touch,
Exactly.
if you touch the bottom of
Good for
the
bagels.
touching the bottom of a handbag is worse than touching
The bottom of
Of
a
a-
horse.
of a Shih Tzu.
Oh,
I would
okay.
argue.
Is that right?
Yes. My Shih Tzu doesn't lie prostrate on the bathroom floor where various people are in and out. Thank
No,
you. Good
I
day.
suppose that's a reason. Yes.
Just my plumber.
I was thinking you meant the inside bottom of a handbag. And I thought, what's in there that it causes that? But I can honestly say I've never seen anyone do that in my life.
This one
And
was
I-
too far away from me for me to see how well administered the rest of her makeup was, but I can only assume it was an absolute nightmare. She's thrusting her face into mascara and
Well, I think
Can
I think I'd be very uneasy watching her apply lipstick.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
people are stepping to me and some people are agreeing. Hi there, guys. Alan should worry more about his beard than the germs on dogs, as it's been scientifically proven that beards are dirtier than dog fur.
Scientifically proven's a very bandied about phrase. That's
It is,
all I'm
yeah.
saying.
Also, I've got both a beard and a dog, Peter, in Bexley Heath. So
I've got a dog with a beard.
Well done, you.
I've got a combine harvester, big wow.
Oh, yeah. What's it like?
Bulky.
I thought it would be.
Very
891 has said that's how I put my lip balm on. So it's not just, unless that is.
Are you sure he didn't say? He's a pokering expert. That's what he is.
Careful.
The thing is, if you put it on with your finger, then someone else you could say to someone, "Do you want some lip balm?" And you could have a dab as well. But once you've gone in mouth first. Yeah. That lip balm can only be used by you, I would say.
I agree.
I don't like it. If I said to you, do you want some lip balm? Imagine if I put lip balm on you. It'd be gross.
Ooh. Kath puts it on wounds and rashes and things like that.
Oh, does she do the Vaseline?
No, she uses Lipsil.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, I don't know about it either.
James Duffy has tweeted us, Glamorama Jim, at Glamorama Jim. I once sat behind Bernard Bresslaw at White Hart Lane.
I only ask.
I really love you, darling. If you're not familiar with Bernard Breslaw's work, Frank, explain.
He was, I would begin by watching Carry On Screaming when he plays the sort of the Igor type assistant to
lovely suggestion.
Fenella Fielding.
You could follow up with Carry On Abroad. Mm-hmm. Where he plays the sort of hapless husband, and I believe camping he might do as well.
Yes,
that's an only
he
by.
did.
Yeah.
But his catchphrase was, "I only asked."
Yes.
And he was a tall man.
He was. So James Duffy sat behind him at White Hart Lane. He is a big fella, and his frame obscured the first third of the pitch for me. When he says is 85 and still alive?
I think...
What are we going here, guys?
I think we might be post-Bresslaw.
93.
I think we're living in a post-Bresslaw
Are we 94 and no more?
I think we are post-Breslawian.
Alan?
I don't know.
Okay, perhaps
I'll let our readers tell us. Happy to wear my lack of knowledge on my sleeve on this.
Okay.
Serge Gainsbourg did a song called The Initials BB, which I think was about Bernard Bresslaw.
I bet it wasn't.
He did.
He did.
What about these people that visited the British Museum just because of you?
It was actually Brigitte Bardot. I was being facetious. Carry on.
I was one out.
What about those people? Did we read this?
So did he say anything to Bresslaw?
No. I don't think he did.
So what can you do? The bloke's not doing anything wrong by being tall.
Yeah. Just existing. Live and let live, guys.
There ought to be.
He only asked.
You could always go and get a booster. Would they give a booster to an adult?
Well,
then the person behind you needs 2 boosters.
Yeah,
the person behind that needs 3.
You know what we need? Rake theatres.
That's a good point.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I have asked for a booster before because I'm short. Okay? I mean, I'm no Kagendra Tapamaga.
No.
I'm somewhere between Kagendra Tapamaga and Chanda Bandai Dangi.
Okay.
I would say...
What, in the who's
in the
who?
height stakes. Yeah, in the who's
in the dictionary.
In the who's who. Chandra is 1'4", I think, or 1'7" maybe.
Okay.
But we got a booster for Buzz. Do you remember it, Joseph?
Yeah, but for children you're all right. But will they dish them out to adults?
I've had. Faye is shaking her head. She's asked, I believe.
I used to work in a theatre and we wouldn't give them to adults.
That's outrageous.
Faye has actually spoken on the radio. Is this a sacking or a pay rise?
It's a new era.
I don't know what to make of it. It's all gone a bit TFI Friday.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
We've had some lip balm criticism sent in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
Hi, guys, and Mr. Frank Skinner. Lip balm is unfortunately addictive and dries your lips up, so you need to keep using it. Do you see?
Now, you see, my partner, Kath, is obsessed with lip balm, and she does use it. She uses it in the summer as well.
Yes.
I get to this time of the year, and I get a kind of a... my lips feel a bit sore.
Me too.
Maybe I need some lip balm, as if it's never happened before. And it happened last year and the year before, exactly the time.
Me too,
exactly
Frank.
the same time. I've got some called Louisville lip balm, which I bought in Louisville, which has got a picture of Muhammad Ali on it.
Oh, right.
So I'm going to use
Does
that.
it float like a butterfly, sting like a bee?
I hope it doesn't sting like a bee.
Oh yeah, that's
you
true.
don't
Although you can
want
get Burt's bees. That's nice.
Although bee sting lips are like a thing, aren't they?
Yeah, bee stung lips.
Oh yeah,
That's
exactly.
an attractiveness thing, isn't it?
Is it though, or is it one of those things that glamour models have done?
And then people don't like
Well, I think
anymore.
I'm not condemning them as a species. I'm just saying,
Species.
not for me.
I like the species. I use hemp lip balm, more natural stuff.
Hemp.
Yeah. Bit of a progressive character.
I seem to
One of those
remember
progressive
our
people.
Keith, I think, used to use hemp.
Very old
I
Keith.
think it was a bit of an illegal ground bait for fishing.
Oh,
I have an idea it used to drog the fish or something
I
like
can
that.
imagine our
let's
Keith.
hope the authorities don't hear
You
this
think-
No,
show.
I don't. I mean, it was a long time ago, but I suppose a historical crime.
Yeah.
And I suspect he had his blood-wind pig going off in the background.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't really do that then unless you... because people didn't have mobile music devices.
Didn't you have the ghetto blaster at that stage?
I don't think it arrived by then.
Okay. Anyway, so this Tracy, she uses, I mean, I'm sorry to shop at her, to the authorities, but she uses hemp lip balm, more natural stuff, although natural lip balm can still dry out your lips, but I think they use perfume on lip balm to make it smell stronger, which is why I went cold turkey 7 years ago.
Cold turkey would do
Tracy
it.
Craig.
Nice and greasy.
Yes. I would prefer that.
Would you?
Oh.
Have you ever used lip balm in your entire life, Al?
I think I've tried it by accident because of
By
kissing
accident?
my wife, and
Oh,
it's
I
on
see.
her lips, and then I go. "Gah, gah, gah."
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
romantic.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's a difficulty, but we're working through it.
Al, what do you think of this? We were talking about Lucknow, and Frank had said, we're talking about Shere Khan trying to find a room, the tall man. Frank, you'd suggested he call it...
Look no further with the name of the site you went to find.
553 has suggested, what about the You're In, Lucknow?
You're in, as in INN.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
In, Lucknow.
You're in Lucknow, yeah.
Okay, you're in
I think
Lucknow.
that's an elegant hotel title. I may have complained on this show before about once staying in a hotel called My Hotel, and if you can't find it, you feel a fool going up to people and saying, "Do you know the way to My Hotel?"
No, that's difficult.
Infuriating.
I do love that Elton John's autobiography is called Me.
Yes.
If the cap fits,
It
the
is.
glittery top hat fits.
It's really one of the great autobiography titles of
And
all
it's
time.
meant to be one of the great autobiographies of all time.
Is it really?
Yes, we need to get on that.
Interesting.
Well, let's have short readings from it on the show every week.
We'll have that as
Sounds
our
like
next
fun.
reading club, maybe.
Yeah.
We need one.
We've never had a reading club, have we?
We did once, a Robert Harris book, don't you remember?
Oh, yeah,
You
but
started it.
I don't think it went on air.
No.
No.
So look, thanks for listening to us this morning. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.